Hi, I'm Sharkey, and I'm here to give you some tips about how to help your student practice. Or if you're the student, these tips can also help you practice. I'm a music student, and they certainly help me practice, and these are some of the things that I found most useful when practice is less than consistent. So, anyhow, one of the things that I find extremely helpful, especially when I'm working with my kids, is to sit down in a peaceful, non-confrontational conversation and talk to them about what they want to accomplish with music. Like, what are your goals? And then what we want to do is have them help us figure out what game plan, what practice schedule we should put together in order to meet those goals. And then a lot of this should be coming from them with a little guidance from you, but it's going to be much more effective if they set the rules when it comes time to follow the rules. Definitely you'll be helping guide that, but the idea is they have a sense of how often they should practice, and even if it's just a little bit, if it comes from them, that's more likely to happen, and a little bit of practice makes students better, and the better they get, the more they want to practice. So anyhow, the first, I have 5 tips here for what I think would help with practice. The first tip is to set expectations and tie those to the goals that the student has. So when we're talking about a goal of, say, I want to play this song in a month versus I want to be in a band in a year, these are some goals that will help drive the day-to-day practice if they're set up with the help of the student. So I would say setting goals, setting expectations with the help of the student will help define a more effective practice plan. So one that they'll be more likely to follow. So another big important part of regular practice or promoting regular practice is having a set time and a dedicated place for the student to practice. Somewhere where there's not a lot of distractions, TV's on in the background, or just a lot of noise or anything, a lot of activity around. It makes it very difficult to focus, and music is hard. And it's not just a physical activity, it is a big time mental activity. So having that space where you can sit quietly and focused is extremely important, and setting a schedule for that so that it happens consistently on the same days every week. So if you do practice at 3 o'clock on Monday, it doesn't have to be 3 o'clock every day, but maybe it's 7 o'clock on Thursdays. But it should be a time set aside for that, not just practice 20 minutes a day and hope it happens at some point. Setting a time, providing a space are extremely important for a student feeling like they kind of own that time and that space. It's their responsibility to practice. Breaking practice into sections is helpful for some students. I know it is for me when I have a very busy schedule and I think I really don't have 30 or 45 minutes to practice right now. But when I break it up into 15-minute chunks or even 10-minute chunks, that makes it a lot easier to fit into my schedule. It can also be helpful for kids that have trouble focusing for long periods of time or even sitting still for long periods of time, and I'm one of them. It will help to take the sections that your teacher gives you. Say you're practicing technique. Practice that for 15 minutes. If you need to take a break, take a break. You're practicing sight reading for 15 minutes. Break it up into those smaller sections and it'll be a little bit easier. Even if you're sitting down to do them all at once, you set a timer. That timer goes off in 15 minutes and you go on to the next topic. So that will help you cover everything within the homework, and if you need to break up the practice throughout the day in 15-minute chunks, that can also help out. This is a big one for me, and that is creating a list of my practice sessions. I like to do it on a dry erase calendar, and the reason I do that is not just to help me remember when I'm going to practice, what day, what time, but it's really to feel the sense of satisfaction of crossing that off when I've finished. It sounds silly, but there's something very satisfying about saying, I'm finished with this, and to look back and go, wow, I practiced all those days this month. That's why I'm getting better. Or, geez, I missed some of those practices and I can tell my playing is slipping a little bit. So anyway, whether it's a list or a calendar, I would highly recommend that you put something down where the student can actually cross it off, not the parent, but the student who actually did the practicing should have that sense of satisfaction. And then it helps you actually to be able to see, well, did they do the homework? Or did they do their practicing? According to this calendar, they did. Well, calendar's wrong, that's a whole other issue, but anyhow. The last, and I think Well, these are all really important, but I think this is probably the most important when it comes to longevity with a child taking music, or any student really, is this sense of pride when they've accomplished what they've set out to do. And you being involved in that process is so crucial, because you're helping them set this routine up. You're kind of guiding the process, at least monitoring the process as it goes. And then when they get to the sense of, you know, I've reached my goal, you just got to lay on the praise and tell them how proud you are of them and how much they've, you know, stuck to it, and they set these goals, and it's really, that's the payoff. The music is great. Everything, you know, playing music and having fun with your friends and playing in a band, all that is amazing, but it's the human growth that goes along with playing music, the discipline, the sense of self-esteem, the sense of pride and accomplishment. This is really what is, I think, the most important part about taking music lessons. And even if you don't go on to be a great musician or a professional, these things help us build our human character and help us get along with each other. So I would definitely suggest that you at least try some or all of these. If you have any questions about this or have other ideas, I'm around, and I would love to talk to you about all of this. So hopefully that helps. We'll talk to you next time.